Never regret a choice again. The framework that makes decisions easy. Have you ever stood frozen in the grocery aisle, staring at 20 kinds of pasta sauce, feeling a silly panic rise in your chest? Or lain awake at 2 a.m., your mind racing over a big career move or a difficult conversation, playing out every possible terrible outcome? These moments, big and small, drain your energy and steal your peace. They make you feel stuck, unsure, and heavy with the worry of making the wrong call. You are not alone in this feeling. It is a universal human experience. But what if it didn't have to be this way? What if you could move through your days with a quiet confidence, knowing your choices are right for you? This book is your invitation to that new reality. We are going to build a simple, powerful framework that turns decision-making from a chore into your greatest superpower. Imagine a world where you wake up and know exactly what step to take next, where your path feels clear and chosen by you, not forced by fear. Picture ending your day with a sense of calm completion, not a spiral of what-ifs. The weight of constant uncertainty is exhausting, and you deserve to put it down. This is not about finding a magic crystal ball that shows the future perfectly. It is about building an inner compass you can always trust. The clear choice framework you will learn here is that compass. It is a step-by-step guide, free of confusing jargon designed for real life. By the last page, you will not just read about easy decisions, you will be living them. Get ready to feel lighter, more powerful, and excited for every choice ahead. Chapter 1. The Two Enemies of Good Decisions, Fear and Fog. Maria stared at the two nearly identical job offers on her screen, her stomach in knots. One was safe and familiar, close to home. The other was exciting and new, but in a city she'd never visited. For weeks, she had been paralyzed, saying she needed more information. But really, she was just scared. Her brain felt like a browser with 50 tabs open, all of them screaming different advice. This is the fog. That overwhelmed, confused feeling where every option seems equally good and bad at the same time. It clouds your vision and makes even simple choices feel impossibly complex. You spin in circles looking for more data, hoping the answer will appear, but the fog only gets thicker. Lurking beneath the fog is its powerful partner, fear. Fear whispers terrible stories in the dark. What if you fail and everyone laughs? It hisses about the new job. What if you get stuck and never grow? It mocks about the safe one. Fear's job is to protect you from any risk, but it does its job too well. It tries to protect you from disappointment, from effort, and even from amazing opportunities. Fear and fog work together to keep you stuck right where you are, in the familiar discomfort of not deciding. They are the guards at the door of your new life, and they look very intimidating. But here is the secret. They are paper tigers. They have power only because you are trying to fight them with your thinking brain alone. When you are in the fog, more thinking is like trying to fan away smoke. It just swirls it around. When you are facing fear, arguing with its wild stories only makes them louder. You need a new approach, and that is what this framework provides. We are not going to fight these enemies head-on. We are going to walk around them with a simple plan. The first step to making a great decision is to recognize these two troublemakers when they show up. Just naming them, that's the fog, or hello, old friend fear, takes away a huge chunk of their power. It moves them from being controllers of your life to being mere emotions you notice. Your journey to clear decisions starts with this simple act of recognition. See them, acknowledge them, and then get ready to move forward anyway. Your courage is bigger than they are. Chapter 2. The Myth of the Perfect Choice, and Why It's Holding You Back. Leo was on a mission to find the perfect espresso machine. He read every review, watched hours of video comparisons, and joined online forums. Months passed. His kitchen counter remained empty and his morning coffee remained mediocre. He was so fixated on finding the one flawless machine, the one with no downsides, that he ended up with nothing. He was trapped by the myth of the perfect choice. We are taught to seek the best, but this search for perfection is a trap. It sets you up for failure before you even begin because a perfect choice in a complex world does not exist. Every path has a trade-off, a small compromise, an unknown. The chase for perfection is exhausting. It makes you second-guess yourself constantly, wondering if you missed a hidden detail or a better option. It turns decision-making into a stressful exam you are doomed to fail. You delay, you procrastinate, you seek just one more opinion, all while life passes by. The dream of perfection steals your time, your energy, and your joy in the present moment. It tells you that unless you find the flawless answer, you are not smart or diligent enough. This is a lie. The most successful and peaceful people are not perfect decision makers. They are confident decision makers. Let's reframe the goal entirely. Your aim is not a perfect choice, but a strong choice. A strong choice is one that is thoughtful, aligns with what you care about, and moves you forward. It is a choice you can own and defend, even if it doesn't work out exactly as planned. A strong choice is made with both your head and your heart, using the information you have right now, not the information you wish you had. It is an active step, not a frozen pause. Think of it like choosing a path in a forest. Waiting for a perfect path with no rocks or roots means you will never start walking. A strong path is one that goes in the direction you want to travel. Shifting from perfect to strong is incredibly freeing. It takes the immense pressure off your shoulders. Suddenly, you are not looking for a magical solution. You are looking for a good, solid, forward-moving step. This mindset allows you to be human, to learn, and to adapt. It turns decision-making from a scary final verdict into an ongoing conversation with your life. You make a strong choice, you learn from the results, and you make the next strong choice. This is how you build a life of action and growth. Let go of the ghost of perfection. It is time to embrace the powerful, real, and satisfying world of strong choices. Your progress is waiting. Chapter 3: Your Personal Compass, What Really Matters to You. Anya felt successful on paper, great salary, nice car, but she also felt a constant, low hum of emptiness. She said yes to every work project, driven by a need for praise, but said no to weekends with friends, too tired to connect. Her decisions were being made by a ghost of her old self, the one who thought achievement was everything. One quiet Sunday, she asked herself a simple question: when did I last feel truly happy and at peace? The answer surprised her. It was when she was helping her niece build a silly fort, laughing without a clock in sight. That moment was a clue. That feeling was a signal from her inner compass. Your personal compass is not a list of goals from a magazine. It is the deep-down core values that make you feel alive and true to yourself. Is it freedom, connection, creativity, security, adventure, peace? For Anya, connection and creativity were buried under layers of shoulds. Your values are your true north. When your choices align with them, you feel right, even if the path is hard. When your choices go against them, you feel that draining sense of being off track, no matter how good it looks. Most of us have never clearly defined our compass. We navigate by other people's maps, our parents' wishes, society's expectations, our friends' goals. This is why we can achieve a dream and feel nothing. To make decisions easy, you must know what you're steering toward. Let's discover your coordinates. Grab a notebook. Think of 2 or 3 peak moments in your life, times you felt proud, joyful, or completely engaged. What was happening? What values were being honored in those moments? Was it learning? Family, mastery. Now think of moments of deep frustration or anger. These are also clues. Your anger often flares up when a core value is being violated. If you get furious about being micromanaged, you likely value autonomy. If you feel hurt when friends forget your birthday, you likely value thoughtfulness or celebration. These positive and negative moments are the data points for your compass. From them, choose 3 to 5 core words that resonate as your non-negotiable guides. Write them down. This is not set in stone forever, but it is your map for now. Before any big decision, you will ask, which choice best honors these values? Your compass cuts through the fog of fear. It gives you a clear, personal, and powerful reason to choose one path over another. Knowing your North Star makes every journey simpler. Chapter 4, Step 1, Pause. How to stop the panic in 60 seconds. Ben's heart hammered against his ribs. The angry email from his biggest client glowed on his screen, a list of unreasonable demands. His fingers flew to the keyboard, ready to fire back a defensive reply. The pressure to fix it now was overwhelming. But just before he hit send, he remembered a single word: pause. He pushed his chair back, stood up, and walked to the window for exactly 60 seconds. He watched a bird on a branch and took 3 slow, deep breaths. When he sat back down, the panic had receded. The problem was still there, but he was no longer drowning in it. That is the power of the pause. The pause is the most important and most skipped step in decision-making. When stress hits, our ancient brain screams fight or flight. It wants a fast reaction, not a thoughtful response. This is useful if a bear is chasing you, but terrible for a work email or a disagreement with your partner. The pause is your emergency brake. It creates a tiny space between the trigger and your action. In that space, you regain control. You switch from your panicked, reactive brain to your smarter, thoughtful brain. It is the difference between being a puppet pulled by strings of emotion and being the person holding the strings. You do not need an hour to meditate. You need 60 seconds. The method is simple but must be physical to break the mental loop. First, move your body, stand up, stretch, walk to a different room. This signals to your nervous system that the emergency is paused. Second, connect with your breath. Don't think about breathing, just feel it. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Do this 3 times. This calms your heart rate. Third, anchor to your senses. Look at one thing in the room. Listen to one sound. Feel the texture of your desk. This pulls you into the present moment. Why does this work? It stops the chemical cascade of stress in your body. It tells your amygdala, the brain's alarm bell, I've got this, stand down. In that quiet space, clarity has room to grow. The pause is not about doing nothing. It is the first, most powerful action you can take. It is you choosing to be the boss of the situation, not letting the situation boss you. Practice this today with small stresses. Practice when you can't decide what to eat for lunch or feel rushed in a store. Build the muscle. Make the pause your automatic response to any pressure. When you master step 1, you have already won half the battle. You are no longer making decisions from a place of panic, but from a place of power. The next steps will show you what to do with that power. Chapter 5, Step 2, Map it. The simple 3-option rule, even when you think there are only 2. Jenna was arguing with her partner, Sam, again. It was about their upcoming vacation. It's either the beach or the mountains, Sam said, frustrated. Jenna wanted the beach, Sam wanted the mountains. They were stuck in a classic 2-option trap, seeing it as a win-lose battle. This is where decisions feel hardest, when you see only 2 doors and both seem wrong. The brain gets trapped in a tense tug-of-war. But what if there was a 3rd door or even a 4th? The rule for this step is simple. You must generate at least 3 options before you can choose. Your brain loves binaries. Yes, no, stay, go, this, that. It's a shortcut, but it's a trap. The 3-option rule forces you to think more creatively and break out of that narrow fight. The 3rd option is often the most interesting one, the compromise, the clever solution, the path you hadn't considered. For Jenna and Sam, what could option 3 be? A lake house with hiking trails and a beach. A city trip with great food and a nearby national park. A split trip with a few days in each place. Suddenly, the conflict isn't about beating the other person. It's about exploring together. Generating options is a brainstorm, not a final judgment. No idea is too silly at this stage. Write them all down. For a career dilemma, your 2 options might be quit my job or stay miserable. Option 3 could be ask for a new role within the company. Option 4, go part-time while I build a side business. Option 5, take a bold new training course to make my current role more engaging. See how the world opens up. You are not just choosing between bad and worse. You are designing new possibilities. This step works because it shifts your identity from a passive chooser between limited things to an active creator of your own future. You are mapping the territory, and you are in charge of drawing the map. Even if you end up choosing one of the original 2 options, you do so with the confidence that you truly explored the landscape. You are no longer feeling trapped, you are feeling informed. Practice this with a small decision today. Should I cook or order takeout? Option 1, cook. Option 2, order. Option 3, make a super simple breakfast for dinner. Option 4, Use that gift card for the new restaurant. Feel the freedom. Mapping options turns stress into a creative game. It is the step where you remind yourself that you have more power and more paths available than you first thought. Chapter 6, Step 3, See the Future. A fun way to picture your life after each choice. Diego was offered a promotion that meant more money but also much more travel. Stuck, he used the 3-option rule. 1. Take it. 2. Decline it. 3. Negotiate for the role with less travel. Now how to choose? He used Step 3, See the Future. He didn't just think about it, he experienced it. For option 1, he closed his eyes and vividly imagined himself 6 months from now. He pictured the fancy hotel room, quiet and lonely on a Wednesday night. He felt the weight of his suitcase, the missed soccer game of his son on his phone screen. He noted the pride in his bank account, but also the hollow ache in his gut. Then he imagined option 2, declining. He saw himself in his current comfortable office. He felt the slight resentment as others moved ahead. He also pictured clocking out at 5 p.m. sharp, coaching his son's team and feeling present. He felt the security but also the nagging what if. Finally, he imagined option 3, negotiating. He rehearsed the tough conversation with his boss. He pictured a counteroffer with 50% less travel. He felt the nervous thrill of advocating for himself and the potential win-win outcome. This is not overthinking. It is experiencing your choice before you make it. Your gut feelings and emotions are data. Your body will often react to a future image before your logical mind can explain why. Diego noticed his chest tighten with the lonely hotel image. His spirit lifted at the soccer field. His nerves buzzed with energy at the negotiation table. These physical signals are messages from your deepest wisdom. They tell you which future version of yourself feels more aligned, more whole, more you. The key is to make the daydream specific and sensory. Don't just think more money. Imagine opening the bank app and seeing the number. Feel the leather seat of the new car or the stress of the bigger mortgage. For a relationship choice, don't just think break up. Imagine your apartment without their stuff, the conversations with friends, the quiet Saturday mornings alone. Feel both the grief and the potential peace. This practice makes the consequences real. It transforms abstract pros and cons into lived experience. Seeing the future demystifies your options. It takes them out of the scary realm of the unknown and lets you try them on for size. Often, one path will simply feel lighter, more expansive, or more right in a way that logic alone can't capture. Other times, you'll see a clear downside you had ignored. This step builds confidence because you are not jumping blindly. You are stepping onto a path you have already visited in your mind. You are choosing with your eyes wide open, guided by the wisdom of your whole self, mind, heart, and gut. Now, with a clearer feel for the destination, you are ready for the final check. Chapter 7, Step 4, Check Your Gut. Listening to the quiet voice, not the scared one. After her See the Future exercise, Maya felt torn. The data said move to the city for the job, better salary, career growth. Her future vision showed exciting nights out in a stylish apartment. But a small, quiet feeling in her center just below her ribs felt heavy. It wasn't the loud voice of fear screaming, "You'll fail." This was different, a soft, persistent sigh. This was her gut, her intuition. Step 4 is about learning to hear that quiet voice and trust it. Intuition is not magic. It's your brain processing millions of subtle data points, faster than your conscious mind can. We often confuse intuition with fear or wishful thinking. Fear is loud, frantic, and paints pictures of disaster. Wishful thinking is sugary and avoids all negatives. True intuition is calm, clear, and often comes as a simple knowing. It might be a sense of rightness or wrongness, a feeling of expansion like a deep breath or contraction like a closing door. For Maya, the city option looked great on paper but felt like a contraction. When she imagined turning down the job and staying in her smaller town to grow her freelance work, she felt an expansion, a sense of space and possibility, even though the logic was riskier. Check your gut, get quiet. Go back to your top 2 or 3 options from your map. Hold one option in your mind. Close your eyes, place your hand on your stomach or your heart. Ask your body a simple question. What is the felt sense of this choice? Don't analyze, just feel. Notice any physical sensations: tightness, relaxation, energy, dread, warmth, chill. Then ask, if I say yes to this, what is the deepest, truest feeling? Listen for the first word that pops up: trapped, free, anxious, excited, burdened, alive. That is your gut talking. Your logical mind is a superb calculator, but your intuition is your built-in compass for what is authentically right for you. It has access to your memories, your values, and your subconscious desires. It's the part of you that knew a person was wrong for you before you had the proof, or that a house felt like home the moment you walked in. This step is where you integrate the head and the heart. You've done the thinking, mapping, seeing the future. Now you do the feeling. The goal is alignment, when your logic and your intuition point in the same direction. That is a powerhouse decision. If they conflict, don't ignore it. A logical yes with an intuitive no is a warning to slow down and investigate further. Maybe your intuition knows you'll hate the commute your logic dismissed. A logical no with an intuitive yes might be pointing you toward a growth opportunity that's scary but right. In Maya's case, her logic said city, her gut said town. She investigated further and realized her gut was tied to her core value of creative freedom, which the structured job would limit. Her intuition was protecting her true north. Honoring that quiet voice is the ultimate act of self-trust. It is you believing in your own inner wisdom. With that trust, you are now ready for the final, brave step. Chapter 8, Step 5, Choose with Courage, How to Say Yes or No Without Looking Back. Carlos stood at the metaphorical cliff edge. All his work was done. He had paused, mapped 3 options, seen the futures, and checked his gut. The clear path was to leave his stable engineering job and invest fully in his handmade furniture workshop. Logic said it was risky. His intuition screamed it was his purpose. Now came the moment of truth, the leap. This is Step 5, Choose with Courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is making the choice while feeling the fear. It is the commitment to stop analyzing and start acting. It is the decision to own your path, no matter what happens next. This is where many people falter, falling back into the fog for one more review. Choosing feels final and our minds hate closing doors. But not choosing is itself a choice for stagnation. The courage to choose comes from a shift in identity. You must see yourself not as someone who finds the right answer, but as someone who makes strong choices and handles the results. You are a capable navigator, not a passive passenger. Say it to yourself. I'm a person who chooses, learns, and adapts. This self-talk builds the muscle for the leap. The act of choosing needs to be deliberate. Don't let the choice just happen. Announce it. Write it down in your journal. On date, I choose to your choice because it aligns with my values of value 1 and value 2. Tell a supportive friend. This makes it real. For Carlos, he signed a lease for a small workshop space. That was the physical action that cemented his choice. A choice without an action is just a wish. Your action can be small, sending an email, making a phone call, buying a book on the topic, but it must happen. Now about looking back. Regret comes from the story you tell yourself later. The framework is your shield against regret. When the inevitable doubt whispers, "Did I do the right thing?" you have a powerful answer. You can say, "I made the strongest choice I could with the information I had. I aligned it with my values. I listened to my intuition. It was a courageous step for my growth." This is unshakable. You cannot control outcomes, but you can absolutely control the quality of your decision-making process. You have done that work. Choosing with courage builds incredible momentum. Each courageous choice makes the next one easier. You build a track record of trusting yourself. Life becomes an adventure you are actively shaping, not a script you are nervously reading. Carlos's workshop might succeed or it might struggle, but he will never wonder what if. He is in the arena of his own life. That is where fulfillment lies, not in perfect outcomes, but in engaged, authentic participation. You have all the tools. You have paused, mapped, seen, felt, and now you must leap. Take a deep breath, choose, and step forward into the life you are designing. The adventure is waiting for you. Chapter 9. Daily Decisions Made Easy. From what to eat to how to spend your evening. The alarm blares. Immediately, your brain presents its first puzzle: snooze or get up. Then, what to wear, what to eat for breakfast. Should I go to the gym? By the time you leave the house, you have made dozens of micro decisions, often on autopilot or with a draining sense of grudging duty. This is decision fatigue, and it steals the energy you need for the big, important choices of your day. The framework isn't just for life's crossroads, it's a tool to declutter your daily mental load. Applying it to small choices trains your brain for the big ones and makes your everyday life feel effortlessly intentional. Let's take a common evening dilemma. You're tired after work. The options seem to be: 1. Collapse on the couch and scroll, or 2. Force yourself to do the productive thing you should do. This two-option trap leads to guilty scrolling. Let's apply the framework quickly. Pause, take 1 minute to breathe when you walk in the door instead of grabbing your phone. Map, generate 3 options. Option 1, scroll. Option 2, work on my project. Option 3, call a friend for a 20-minute chat. Option 4, take a short walk, then read a book. See the future, imagine each one. Feel the zombie-like numbness after an hour of scrolling. Feel the stress and resistance of forcing work. Feel the connection and laughter from the call. Feel the calm energy after the walk and book. Check your gut, which felt most nourishing, probably not the scrolling. Your gut might point to the walk or the call, something that actually recharges you. Choose with courage, act on it, put on your shoes, dial the number. This turns a default habit into a conscious, life-giving choice. The key for daily decisions is speed and simplicity. You don't need a 30-minute journal session. The process happens in your head in under 2 minutes. The goal is to break the cycle of autopilot, which often leads to activities that don't serve you. When you choose how to spend your evening consciously, you reclaim that time. You end the day feeling like an active participant, not a tired spectator. This builds a profound sense of self-respect and control over your own life, minute by minute. Practice this today with 3 small choices. What to drink with lunch? Apply the 3-option rule: water, soda, or iced tea. See the future. How will each make you feel at 3 p.m.? Check your gut. Choose. It feels silly, but it's practice. What to do on your lunch break? Eat at desk, run an errand, or take a walk outside. Map, see, feel, choose. Each time you do this, you strengthen your decision-making muscle. You learn what your body and mind truly need in the moment. Daily life stops being a series of chores and reactions. It becomes a stream of tiny, empowering choices that add up to a day you actively designed. And a series of well-designed days creates a magnificent life. Chapter 10. The Career Crossroad, Using the Framework to Find Your Path. Lena had been a successful accountant for 12 years. The work was fine, the pay was good, but a quiet ache of "is this it?" grew louder every month. She saw a posting for a training role in her company, something completely different that sparked a flicker of excitement. This is a career crossroad, a moment where the safe path and the uncertain path diverge. These decisions feel huge because they tie into our identity, security, and future. Fear and fog are at their peak here. This is exactly when you need your framework the most, to move beyond fear and into clear-eyed choice. Let's walk it through with Lena. First, she pauses. She tells herself she doesn't need to decide this second. She schedules an hour on Saturday to think it through, taking the pressure off. At her session, she maps. Her options aren't just stay or go for the new job. She lists: 1. Stay in current role, seek no change. 2. Apply for the internal training role. 3. Stay in accounting but look for a similar role in a more inspiring industry. 4. Take a course in instructional design first, then look for roles in a year. Already, the prison of 2 options is broken. Now she sees the future. She vividly imagines option 1, another year at her desk, the safe paycheck, the growing sense of quiet despair. She imagines option 2, the thrill of the interview, the potential rejection, or the scary joy of starting a new career from scratch. She pictures option 3, the research into new industries, the networking, the potential for a fresh start with her existing skills. She visualizes option 4, the dedicated learning, the side project, the slower but more prepared transition. She notes her emotions: dread, nervous excitement, curiosity, hopeful patience. Time to check her gut. She places a hand on her stomach and holds each option. Stay feels like a heavy, sinking stone. Apply now feels like butterflies, both fear and thrill. Switch industries feels like an interesting puzzle. Learn first feels like a steady, warm certainty. Her gut isn't screaming one answer, it's giving nuanced data. The heavy stone is a clear no to stagnation. The steady warmth of learning aligns with her value of competence. The thrill of applying aligns with adventure. Lena chooses with courage. Her gut and logic point to a blend. She will choose option 4 with a taste of option 2. Her courageous action is to enroll in the course and ask for an informational interview with the training department to learn more. This isn't a reckless leap or a passive stay. It's a strong, strategic step that honors both her need for security and her desire for growth. The framework didn't give her a magic answer. It gave her a clear, personalized next step that she can own without regret. Your career path is not a single monumental choice. It is a series of next steps. Use the framework at each juncture to ensure your steps are aligned with your evolving values and intuition. Whether it's asking for a raise, leaving a toxic job, starting a side hustle, or pivoting entirely, the process remains the same. It moves you from being a victim of your career, "I'm just stuck here," to being the architect of it. "I am choosing this step for these reasons." Your work life is too big a part of your life to leave to chance. Design it, one courageous, framework-guided choice at a time. Chapter 11, Matters of the Heart, Guidance for Relationships and Family. David loved his girlfriend, Clara, but after 4 years he felt stuck. The question, "Should we get engaged?" loomed. Part of him screamed yes, part of him whispered doubts. Family pressure said yes. His friends asked, "What are you waiting for?" Matters of the heart are the trickiest landscape for decisions because logic and emotion are so deeply tangled. The fear of hurting someone, the weight of commitment, and the stories we tell ourselves about love make the fog incredibly thick. Here, the framework acts as a grounding wire, bringing clarity to the storm of feelings. David commits to a pause. He tells Clara he needs a weekend to himself to think about their future, framing it as being thoughtful, not doubtful. This creates the space. He goes to a quiet place and maps. His options are not just propose or break up. He writes, 1. Propose now, hoping doubts fade. 2. Break up, fearing the doubts are a sign. 3. Have a totally honest, vulnerable conversation with Clara about his fears and ask for a timeline for more clarity. 4. Suggest pre-engagement counseling, to explore the doubts together before any decision. He then sees the future with raw honesty. Option 1. The shiny ring, the happy party, the underlying knot of unease in his stomach as they plan a wedding. Option 2. The devastating heartbreak, the empty apartment, the wondering if he made a terrible mistake. Option 3. The scary, tearful conversation, the risk of upsetting her, but also the potential for a deeper, more honest connection and a joint plan. Option 4. The slightly awkward sessions, the revelations, the potential to either strengthen their bond or confirm it's not right. Now he must check his gut, separating fear from intuition. He holds each option. Proposing feels like putting on a costume that doesn't fit, a constriction. Breaking up feels like a sudden, painful amputation. The honest conversation feels terrifying but also like a relief, an expansion into truth. Counseling feels like a responsible, loving step, a steady bridge. His intuition isn't pointing to an easy, pain-free outcome. It's pointing toward the path of greatest integrity and growth, even though it's the scariest one to initiate. David chooses with courage. He knows the strong choice is option 3, followed by likely option 4. His courageous action is to schedule the talk and commit to speaking his truth with kindness. He is not choosing an outcome, marriage or breakup. He is choosing the process of truth and clarity. This is the key for relationship decisions. You often cannot control the other person's response, but you can control your own honesty and the quality of your actions. A choice made with courage and integrity, regardless of outcome, is one you will never regret. The framework works for all heart decisions. Setting boundaries with a difficult parent, deciding to have a child, mending a friendship. It forces you to move beyond reactive emotion, "I'm so angry," or passive drifting, "I guess this is fine," and into conscious, brave action. It ensures you are making choices based on your values like honesty, respect, or commitment, rather than on fear of conflict or loneliness. Your relationships deserve the same intentional design as the rest of your life. Lead with your compass, trust your gut, and have the courageous conversations. The clarity you seek is on the other side of them. Chapter 12. The Big Leaps: Moving, Investing, and Other Life-Changing Moves. The brochure for the mountain town was worn from Sophia's handling. She could sell her city condo, buy a smaller place there, and finally open her dream bookstore. It was the biggest leap of her life. Big leaps involve major resources, money, location, lifestyle, and feel irreversible. The stakes seem ultimate, and the "what if I ruin my life" fear is deafening. This is where people get paralyzed for years, even decades. The framework is your structured launchpad for these very leaps. It doesn't eliminate risk, but it ensures your risk is calculated and aligned, not reckless. Sophia starts with a long pause. She gives herself permission to explore this dream seriously for 3 months without pressure to decide. This frees her to research, not just panic. She begins to map with audacity. 1. Do nothing. Stay put. 2. The full leap: sell, move, open shop. 3. A test move: rent out her condo, rent a place in the town for a year, work at a local bookstore. 4. A side leap: keep her job, open an online bookshop first to build the business. The 3-option rule forces creative, intermediate steps between the extremes. Next, she sees the future in vivid financial and emotional detail. For the full leap, she researches exact home prices, creates a business budget, and imagines a Tuesday in winter. Is it cozy or isolating? For the test move, she pictures the logistics of being a landlord, the feeling of a rental, the joy of learning the community without burning her bridges. For the side leap, she envisions late nights packing orders after work, the slow growth, the safety net. She writes down the tangible pros and cons of each, but more importantly, she journals the feelings each future evokes. Checking her gut is crucial. The full leap feels thrilling but also sends a jolt of terror through her spine. Is it excitement or warning? The do-nothing option feels like a slow suffocation, a deep, sad no. The test move feels both smart and adventurous, a yes but carefully feeling. The side leap feels steady but also frustratingly slow. Her intuition seems to be pulling her toward movement but cautiously. It values her dream but also her security. It's pointing toward a bridge, not a cliff jump. Sophia chooses with courage. Her strong choice is option 3, the test move. It honors both her adventurous spirit and her pragmatic mind. Her courageous actions are listing her condo for rent and researching year-long rentals in the mountain town. This is the power of the framework for big leaps. It often reveals a middle path that is neither reckless nor stagnant. It is a step of bold commitment that is also intelligently designed. She is not betting her entire life. She is running a courageous experiment based on deep reflection. Whether it's buying a house, making a big investment, or starting a family, the process is the same. The framework prevents you from being impulsively swept away by a dream or permanently stuck by fear. It turns an overwhelming, binary "should I or shouldn't I" into a manageable series of research questions and smaller, exploratory steps. You move from frozen to in motion, and once you are in motion, everything becomes clearer. You learn by doing, and your next decision is informed by real experience, not just imagination. Take the big leap, but build a parachute first. The framework is your parachute, your map, and your courage all in one. Chapter 13. When things don't go as planned, finding the lesson, not the regret. Matteo used the framework and made what felt like a strong, courageous choice. He invested his savings into a food truck. 6 months in, a new city ordinance changed the parking rules and his best location vanished. Business plummeted. The old voice of regret rushed in. "You idiot, you wasted all that money. You should have just kept your safe job." This moment is the true test of your new mindset. Life is unpredictable. Even the best-made decisions can lead to unexpected, difficult outcomes. The goal was never a guarantee of perfect success. It was a guarantee of a regret-free process. Now is the time to trust that process. The first step when a plan fails is to go back to step one. Pause. Do not react from the panic. Mateo takes a day to feel the disappointment, fear, and anger fully. He doesn't make frantic calls or decisions from that place. After the pause, he separates the outcome from the decision. He reviews his framework notes. He remembers his values were freedom and creativity. His gut had said yes. With the information he had, it was a strong choice. The city ordinance was an external shock he could not have predicted. This is critical. You cannot judge the quality of a decision based on information you didn't have at the time. This reframes everything. He did not make a bad decision, he made a strong decision that met with bad luck. This distinction is the difference between shame and resilience. Shame says, I am a failure. Resilience says, this didn't work, but I am still capable. From this place of resilience, he can now apply the framework to his new decision point. He maps his options from here. 1. Give up, sell the truck at a loss. 2. Fight the city ordinance. 3. Pivot the business to catering and events. 4. Find a partner with a private lot. He sees the future for each new path. He checks his gut, which now feels pulled toward the creative pivot to catering. He chooses with courage again, this time to redesign his menu and marketing. The failure became a detour, not a dead end. He found a lesson in flexibility and market research. This is how you build a no-regret life, not by always being right, but by always being responsive, resilient, and ready to make the next strong choice with the new data you have. Every setback contains information. The framework gives you the tools to extract that information without the toxic self-blame. It turns "I regret that" into "I learned that." This mindset is liberating. It allows you to take smart risks, to live boldly, because you know that even if the outcome isn't perfect, you have a system to handle it. You are not fragile, you are adaptable. Your life story becomes one of courageous experiments and continuous learning, not of perfect wins and devastating losses. When you release the demand for a perfect result, you become unstoppable. You are no longer afraid to try because you know you can handle whatever comes next. That is true freedom. Chapter 14. Trusting Yourself. How your confidence grows with every choice you make. Think back to the person you were before this book, perhaps standing in that grocery aisle, confused and drained by a simple choice. Now picture yourself today. Each time you used the pause, each time you created a third option, each time you listened to your quiet gut and chose with courage, you did something profound. You sent a message to the deepest part of your psyche. I am trustworthy. I can handle this. That message is the seed of unshakable self-confidence. Confidence is not a personality trait you are born with. It is a trust fund you build, deposit by deposit, with every intentional choice you make. Every decision you navigate with the framework is a deposit. When you chose a conscious evening over mindless scrolling, you deposited trust. When you had the hard conversation instead of simmering in resentment, you deposited trust. When you took a calculated step toward a dream, you deposited trust. These deposits compound over time. The voice of fear and fog doesn't disappear, but it becomes much quieter. It becomes background noise because the louder, clearer voice is your own, saying, I've got a process for this. I know how to handle myself. You stop looking for experts outside of you to tell you what to do. This growing trust transforms your entire presence in the world. You speak up in meetings because you trust your considered opinion. You set boundaries easily because you trust your sense of what's right for you. You can say no without guilt and yes without fear, because both come from a place of alignment. People will sense this quiet assurance in you. They will begin to see you as a decisive person, and that will change how they interact with you, offering more respect and opportunities. But the real reward is internal. The peace of knowing you are the capable author of your own life. This self-trust also makes the framework itself faster and more intuitive. The steps start to blend into a natural flow. You'll find yourself pausing automatically in stress. You'll brainstorm options without prompting. You'll check in with your gut as a habit. Decision-making ceases to be a thing you have to do and becomes simply how you move through the world, consciously, proactively, and with calm power. The tool becomes part of you. You are no longer following a map. You have become the skilled navigator. Celebrate this growth. Look back at a decision you made well recently, big or small, and acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I handled that with clarity and courage. This positive reinforcement strengthens the neural pathways of confidence. Your past decisions are no longer sources of doubt. They are your evidence library of competence. When the next big challenge arises, you can look at this library and say, I've handled hard things before. I can handle this too. Your confidence is now rooted in experience, not just hope. You have built a new relationship with yourself, one of mutual respect and capability. This is the greatest gift of the framework. It gives you back to yourself. Chapter 15. Your future of easy decisions, making the framework a natural habit. You are now at the threshold. You have the knowledge, the steps, and the growing confidence. The final step is to make this way of moving through the world your default setting. This is about habit, not effort. Just like brushing your teeth, the goal is to make clear decision-making an automatic part of your daily routine. It starts with intention. Decide right now that for the next 30 days, you will apply the 5-step framework to at least one decision per day, no matter how small. This is your practice period, your training ground. Begin your day with a micro version of the framework. While your coffee brews, ask, what is one intentional choice I can make today to honor my values? It could be to finish a task, to connect with a friend, to take a walk at lunch. Pause for 10 seconds to consider it. Map 2 quick ways to make it happen. Feel which feels better. Choose it. This 3-minute morning ritual sets your mind for a day of intentionality. It primes your brain to look for choices, not just react to demands. You are starting the day as the active director, not the passive actor. When bigger decisions arise, you now have a ritual. You know to schedule a decision date with yourself instead of ruminating. You will get your notebook, write the question at the top, and walk through the steps. This ritual is powerful. It signals to your brain, we are now in decision mode, and pulls you out of anxious looping. The physical act of writing is key. It gets the swirling thoughts out of your head and onto paper where you can see them clearly. This ritual becomes a sacred space for creating your future, a space you control completely. Your environment can support you. Write the 5 steps on a note and stick it to your monitor or fridge. Set a reminder on your phone titled Pause for midday. Surround yourself with cues that bring you back to your power. Share the framework with a friend or partner and become decision-making allies for each other. Teaching it to someone else deepens your own mastery. You are not just keeping this tool for yourself. You are building a life surrounded by clarity and intention. As this becomes habit, something beautiful happens. The line between big and small decisions blurs. Everything becomes a flowing opportunity to steer your life in the direction you want. The weight is gone. You move with a lightness and agency that others will notice. You will face challenges and hard times, of course, but you will face them with a tool belt, not barehanded. You have moved from being lost in the woods to being the skilled explorer with a reliable compass and map. The future is no longer a scary unknown. It is a series of choices you are excited to make. Your life of easy, confident decisions starts now with the very next choice you face. You are ready. Conclusion: the world of a decisive you. Look at your hands. These are the hands that will now pause, map, envision, feel, and courageously choose the contours of your life. The confusion you once felt is not your default anymore. It is just weather passing through, and you have built a sturdy shelter. You hold the framework, a simple but profound technology for living. It works not because it is magic, but because it is logical, kind, and deeply respectful of your own inner wisdom. You have learned to be your own most trusted advisor, your own compassionate guide, and your own brave champion. The path ahead is yours to design, one strong, clear choice at a time. There is no more need for regret, only for learning. No more room for fear to drive, only for curiosity to lead. Walk forward into your new world with this lightness. You are not just reading a book, you have upgraded your operating system. Go live the life you are now so brilliantly equipped to choose. Welcome to the world of a decisive you. Your adventure is just beginning.